William Hill sponsors Martin vs. Joshua on Sky Sports Box Office.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the final press conference for what will be a great night of world-class professional boxing at the O2 in London. Featured at the top of that card, of course, is the heavyweight championship of the world. That's a title that evokes memories of names like Smokin' Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Rocky Marciano, the Brown Bomber Joe Louis. Those are names that everybody knows, not just boxing fans, not just sports fans. The heavyweight champion of the world is the greatest title for an individual in all of sports. And that's what's going to be happening here Saturday night at the O2. And it'll all be brought to you by Sky Sports, Home Box Office, Matchroom Boxing, along with William Hill, JD, and StubHub. So ladies and gentlemen, here to tell you more about Saturday night's main event and the great undercard that we have is Mr. Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing.
Thank you, Michael. I think you've said nearly all we need to hear in terms of the promotion of this event. This is an opportunity for Anthony Joshua to walk amongst the greats. In front of him is the IBF champion of the world, Charles Martin. 23 fights, 21 KOs, 94% KO ratio between these big punching heavyweights. It's going to be explosive, and that's why it's the fastest selling sporting event at the O2 Arena in their history. A few quick thank yous, of course, to our American broadcasters Showtime, to Leon Margulis and Warriors Boxing, and of course to Sky Sports, who have been heavily invested in British boxing for a long time, and on Saturday night we have the opportunity to take this sport to a whole new level. Many feel that it's too early for Anthony Joshua. Many feel that Charles Martin will be the guy to retain his belt. I say, don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect. And on Saturday night, you're going to get an atmosphere I think we will never forget. I believe it will be a where were you when moment for British sport. Firstly, I'm going to introduce the heavyweight champion of the world, Charles Martin, to say a few words.
Good morning. How y'all doing? I'm really, at this point I become short for words, I don't really do too much talking, because I'm a boxer, I'm a fighter, and that's what we do. We come to fight. So I'm all geared up and I'm ready. We ready. We got the weigh-ins on Friday, and we fighting Saturday. Shout out to my team, everybody that was with me along this journey. Coach Jamal Abdullah, Henry Tillman, Paul Kane right here, Leon, Gary Matthews. We just brought him aboard. My strength and conditioning coach. He's really awesome guy. Take my hat off to him. You definitely guaranteed the win in this fight. Because that's something I ain't never been on, that's a different level, a whole new level, so thank you. Mickey Moo, everybody, my whole team, I'm thanking my whole team, man. I love y'all. Mike Barreo, Al Heyman, we're going to get this, baby. We're going to keep the tide rolling. Keep it rolling. Oh, yeah. That's all I got to say, y'all, man. Thank you.
Charles.
Tune in April 9th.
Charles, we have some questions for Sky Sports News HQ. We're broadcasting live around the country this lunchtime. Can I ask you, first of all, to explain how big a risk this might be for you, coming into Anthony Joshua's backyard, fighting at the O2, his sort of spiritual home for boxing right now. How big a risk is it for you to come and take this fight?
Taking the fight in over here?
Against
is that a
him
risk?
And in London, everything seems stacked towards him. It's in favour of him being here.
I don't consider that, everything in his favor, because that's the O2 arena, that's my arena. I'm comfortable everywhere I go. That ain't nothing new. When I first fought at the Madison Square Garden, that was the first time ever even being in there, and I went in there and performed as such. You know, when I fought at the Barclays, I went in there. It's the same thing, man. You know, I love what I do, man, and I'm a performer. And when eyes are on me, I'm going to perform.
Do you feel that you're in the best physical condition that you've ever been for a fight with the addition that you made to your team, your strength and conditioning coach? And do you feel that you needed to be in the best physical condition to take on a guy who is so physically strong and powerful as Anthony Joshua?
Well, being physically strong and powerful, that wasn't even like the issue because, you know, when I first started boxing, you know, and around in the heavyweight school that I was in, you know, those guys were like 250 pounds, you know, big punchers, big heavy guys, and I was 208 pounds. You know what I mean? And I knew how to be evasive and get out the way. That's why that's never left me. You know what I mean? So I moved around on them guys. You know, they had the power to knock my head off. You know what I mean? Do you think they knocked my head off? No. So I know how to move my head and be evasive, you know. I know I'm technical in there. Real true, you know, boxing analysts and people who know the sport, they know, they see the little small things that I do, you know, that you can tell.
And a final question from me. Do you feel like you can kind of bring the dream crashing down for Anthony Joshua and everyone behind him and everyone in the country? You're here to stop the guy that is being touted as the future of heavyweight boxing. You feel you can do that?
Yeah, man, I'm always here to prove the doubters wrong, man. When you doubt me, that just fuel for my fire, man. You know, burn on.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
And now the challenger from London, the former Olympic gold medalist, 15 wins, 15 KOs, and the challenger for the IBF World Heavyweight title on Saturday night, Anthony Joshua.
Afternoon. Thank you very much for turning out this afternoon for the fight ahead of April 9th, this Saturday. Thank Warrior Boxing, broadcasters, Showtime, Sky Sports, AJ Boxing Management, Matchroom Sports, everyone that made this fight come together. When I look back 2.5 years ago, Eddie Hearn, my coach and so on, done an amazing job taking me around the country, fighting in various arenas, which has kind of led to the last big showdowns in the O2 Arena, which has led to this fight Saturday night. Fighting Charles Martin here, as you all know, southpaw fighter. Big, tricky, all credit to him for taking himself from zero to hero, and the journey that I'm following as well, from zero to hero myself. We're just fighters. I know you mentioned about the whole UK behind myself and the team, so on and so forth. If my dreams don't come to fruition, does it affect everyone else? It just affects myself, because it's just me in that ring. Every time I step in, then no one else steps in with me. So it's my dream that gets shattered. And that's why over camp, over the years that I've been in training camp, we train, we stay dedicated and disciplined to protect our dreams the best way possible. That's why if he wants to box, we can box. Or if he wants to go to deep waters, you know I'm here to fight. That's why these shows sell out, not just myself, the amazing undercard they put on, but they know when it comes to these big, heavy hitters, we don't play games. We're here to go to war. And as I said, we just got 2 generals in the ring, and the best army wins. So I look forward to it. I'm looking forward to Saturday, and I appreciate everyone coming out this afternoon.
Anthony, a couple of questions for Sky Sports News HQ, please. In the last fight that we saw you in December against Dillian Whyte at the O2, you let emotions get on top of you in probably round 1 and round 2. Can you trust yourself mentally to handle the challenge in front of you from a technical boxing point of view and put the occasion to one side? Have you got that mental strength?
Probably not. Probably go out there and try to take his head off the same way. You know what I'm like. I'm a fighter, man. I'm not going to go in there and dance around and try and evade punches. I'm going to walk through 2 to give him fight. And that's just how it goes, you know where I'm coming from. But if I have to show some technical ability as well to defeat Charles Martin, I'll do that. That's what I said. I'm here to box, but at the same time, I know I want this. So I'm ready to swim through deep waters to get it. It's not going to be easy. I know that for a fact. No fight is easy. And that's why I said to you, I can box, and hopefully it'll be an easy night. But if Charles Martin possesses some tricky tricks that I'm going to have to overcome, as I said, I'll swim through deep waters to take him out of there. So what that fight you saw December 12th, Dillian Whyte, credit him. He'll go on to do great things. That guy fought out of his skin, but I managed to knock him clean out, and that's just what we do, and I'm looking to carry on my knockout ratio come Saturday.
Can you talk about how you've prepared specifically for fighting a southpaw and the technical differences and difficulties that will present to you on Saturday night?
Well, preparations are obviously the usual when it comes down to your cardio, your stamina preparation. As he mentioned there, the importance of strength and conditioning. But most importantly, I think, is sparring partners, which I'm lucky enough to have some great southpaw sparring partners come camp around 8 weeks ago that have stuck with me right up until Tuesday morning. We've been sparring something like 14 rounds, 15 rounds, sometimes 12, never less than that. We threw in a couple orthodox fighters that come forward just to keep my range and my sharpness. But it's been great to have these sparring partners, and to be honest, that's the only thing that's changed, is getting in some real good southpaw sparring partners.
And I asked Charles at the start if he was taking a huge risk in coming to London, fighting in your backyard. Are you taking a huge risk in fighting the champion at this relatively early stage of your career?
I want to say the right things and tell everyone it is a risk. Of course, every fight could be your last fight, you know. We know the stories of boxing, how dangerous it is. You have to take every fight like it's your last fight. It most definitely is a risk. But at the same time, let's scrap all this 15-fight, 16-fight nonsense and just put two men in the ring together who want it. Whoever wants it comes out on top. And that's as simple as that. Scrap all this 16-fight nonsense and he's champ. This is just me and Charles going toe-to-toe, and the best man will come out on top.
And for everybody watching live on the channel this afternoon, what do they see on Saturday night in terms of an all-round evening of boxing?
As I said, I look at it like the undercard is tremendous. I don't even like calling it an undercard because there's fights that could headline itself, like Lee Selby's and Eric Hunter's, Jamie McDonald, so many more. We've got Conor Benhead making his debut as well with the legendary Nigel Benn there as well. He's making Ahara Davies, Brian Rose, unbelievable undercard shows there. And so they've got to tune in from the get-go and watch everyone leading up to the big boys. And it's just heavyweight boxing in itself is a division on its own. You know, when we come together, we're just big hitters, we're in great condition. And when 18 stone hits you, man, people just want to see blood. Someone just get chopped down like a tree until someone can't take no more. And that's why you have to tune in Saturday, because that's what you're going to see.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony and Charles. Just a few more words. These fights are very difficult to make, but working with Leon particularly and Lewis DeCuba Senior and Junior and Al Heyman, we've made some great fights recently. And this fight was made very quickly. And we're pleased to give both these guys the opportunity to really enjoy the moment on Saturday night. And I'm going to ask Leon Margulis from Warrior Boxing to come and talk.
London is my favorite city, so my opportunities to come here and participate in an event of this magnitude, I can't say enough about it. Eddie Hearn is one of the great young promoters in our business. I think he's the future of boxing. I say that sincerely. I've known him a long time. I've watched him grow as a promoter. And when we do business, it's very simple because we're 100% honest with each other. We know the game, we know the numbers, we know the risks, we know the rewards. But what can you say? These are what heavyweight champions should look like, both of these guys. These are the two guys that are can't-miss boxing guys. That if you are a fan, whether you can get into the building or watch it on television, this is a fight you don't want to miss. Because you blink your eye, the fight could be over. Thank you very much.
And a gentleman that has been with Charles for 8 or 9 weeks up in Big Bear, we know he's had to deal with the fighters, which is difficult to do in camp, and you've been with Charles a long time. I invite Paul Kane to say some words.
Thanks, Ed.
Hey, hello everybody. London's been great to Charles. There's a couple of things I want to say on behalf of a couple of people in America. I'm here representing Mike Barreo. He's not here right now, so I'm here. So, Mike, thanks a lot. I want to thank Leon Margulis, Lewis DeCubas, Al Heyman. Big thank you to Henry Tillman, Jamal Abdullah, Gary Matthews. They've been in camp and they run everything for Charles Martin. Couple of words I want to say. I once worked for a company called All American Heavyweights, and it was Michael King, and he sunk his money behind Charles Martin and his heart. And he had a big amateur company, and this is the product right now. We're now King Sports. There's a lot of people that have done this. Terry Edwards, Prentice Baird, Max Fodolado, Che Guevara, Jeff Goodman. Loads of people helped with this. And at the end of it, Eddie Hearn, thank you so much. AJ, Sky Sports, everybody to help this fight happen. Charles has had an amazing camp. He's a pretty special individual. On April 9th, this kid's coming out, and everyone will know who he is. On behalf of Michael King, we love you, Michael. We miss you very much. Michael King's watching. Thanks, Leon Magolas.
And finally to speak, I guess I would say this as our exclusive broadcast partner, but really British boxing would be non-existent without the input of Sky Sports. Through the good times and the bad times of boxing over probably the last decade, there has been one broadcaster in the UK that has continuously backed the sport. Adam Smith and his team work tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure that these events have a new look and a new feel, like we've brought to British boxing over the last 3 or 4 years. Although he's not here, I think the head of Sky Sports, Barney Francis, should get a special mention. And I'm so pleased that Barney Francis is a boxing fan, because 3 or 4 years ago, I think the sport was in a pretty dire place in terms of a television product. Now, it's one of the strongest sports on the platform. And to deliver this fight and to give us the opportunity to bring the heavyweight champion of the world to the UK to fight the Olympic champion in London is a big opportunity. And we want to thank Sky Sports and the whole team, Simon Gregory, Jonathan Licht, Beth, Deck, Charlie, I'm sure I've missed out some guys, Ross, all the people behind the ropes. It's just been a fantastic build-up, and we're blessed to work with a broadcaster like you. So I'm going to bring up the head of boxing for Sky Sports, Adam Smith.
Thanks, Eddie. Barney's in Augusta at the moment, but boy, he's excited and will be ringside on Saturday night, as obviously all of us are. The last decade, I mean, it's 25 years at the end of April that Sky Sports has been around. I'm catching the eye of my friend and co-commentator Glenn McCrory at the back, who's lived and breathed most of those. And of course, the heavyweight division has flown through it. You know, we had the early days when Frank Bruno came up second best against Mike Tyson, but wasn't it wonderful that he got that moment at Wembley, beating Oliver McCall in September 1995. You know, we've also had the times with Lennox Lewis, which were fantastic and memorable, crushing Razor Ruddock, and what a moment that was for British boxing. The unification, obviously, the wars with Evander Holyfield and the defeat of Mike Tyson, you know, great moments for Lennox. David Haye going up against the beast from the East in Nikolai Valoev. And of course, last year, Tyson Fury's memorable win against Vladimir Klitschko, which has changed the heavyweight landscape, hasn't it? We wait for their rematch, but in the meantime, isn't it bubbling? You know, Deontay Wilder out there. These boys, you know, we've got so many. David Haye coming back as well. It's a fantastic time for the glamorous heavyweight division. As Eddie says, you know, boxing's in a great place. I want to thank very much Charles Martin's team, Paul Kane and the guys. When we went up to Big Bear, they were absolutely fantastic with us, and we got some great stuff. Thank you for being utterly professional. The same as always to Anthony Joshua and his team. Is this AJ's big moment at the O2 on Saturday night, or will Charles Martin go home with that red belt? I tell you what, I for one, and I know my entire team, cannot wait to see. Enjoy the final countdowns tonight and tomorrow on Sky Sports. Everything on Sky Sports News, which has really helped us in the build-up, and on skysports.com. And Anthony's right. Tune in from 6 o'clock, Sky Sports box office. It's laced with action. World title fights, George Groves back, Conor Benn. I know how nervous Nigel is about all that. It's going to be a terrific night. I'm really looking forward to Macklin and Rose. What a special one that could be for their future. It's all going to be great. We want to see the big boys. We're going to get an explosive, fantastic night to remember. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Just to finish on that, 6 p.m. we'll go live on Sky Sports box office, and I want to thank Warriors, and I want to thank Anthony Joshua as well for having the vision to put on a card, which many fighters don't see the vision to do on a pay-per-view card, and I think it's important to give customers value for money from start to finish. O'Hara Davis in his first title fight, Conor Benn making his debut on the card, Matthew Macklin against Brian Rose has got Fight of the Year contender written all over it. Lee Selby, who I think is pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world, with his mandatory defence against Eric Hunter. Jamie McDonnell, a real unsung hero of British boxing, defending against Vargas. George Groves in a big domestic fight against David Brophy as well. It's a packed card from start to finish. And we want to thank everybody. Paul, Charles, Leon, thank you so much. May the best man win, of course. Adam, thank you. AJ, let's do this, man. And thank you to Freddie and Andy and KD and Leon and all the team, and Michael Buffer as well. We know you're in the right place this weekend. Thank you very much. And we're going to pose for photos up here, head-to-heads with the fighters. And like I said, in all seriousness, may the best man win on Saturday. Thank you.